Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Do and Drew Conspiracy. We're back. We're doing it again. We're going to breathe together and conspire together, which is the same thing. Just, slightly different thoughts come up. So, anyway, we have a breath technique this morning or this afternoon, and it's fun. It's a fun breath technique. It's called lava breath or a volcano breath. It's pretty simple. You just put your hands together and kind of bring them up while you're inhaling, and then as you exhale, they fall out like lava would if it was spewing out of a volcano. So, anyway, let's see. What do you think? We could do 5 volcanoes. That seems pretty okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, I don't know. Maybe you want whatever you need for the best visual. Get comfortable. Get any wiggles out. Yeah. 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 Okay. And you can close down the eyes and take a deep breath in and out. I don't know if it's supposed to make noise. It just feels right. 4. And last one. Big deep breath. And out. All right. We did it.
I think sound is part of it, Andrew. I think I've never heard of a volcano that's silent. So
Yeah, exactly, right? Exactly. Plus, it's fun. It activates all the things. So it's win-win-win. We're having fun today. That's the goal.
we not only are going to have fun today, we're going to discuss fun and what fun actually has become and what it is, and how we've been missing it since 1929.
Okay. All right. And you got some poetry for us today? Is that right?
I do. It's the one I tried to read last time that I couldn't read my handwriting. Um, this is the
Hey,
transcript.
Did you know? Like, I think it was third grade. I had a teacher that like approached my mother and was like, "Your son's handwriting is like literally the worst I've ever seen," and I got like a tutor for handwriting.
Oh, okay.
So I mean, not for a long time. Turns out I could write nicely if I slowed down. I just didn't want
Right, right.
to.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, if you're doing script is like speed,
Right.
and that's why it's so hard to read sometimes because you're just like going with the flow. And this is like I think I might have gone into this one time or two, but this is why it's so devious that they've stopped teaching script in
Oh man.
schools, is because print is so much slower. And if you don't teach script, then kids can't learn to transcribe their thoughts at the speed that they're happening, and so they either don't write them down, or. But of course, with technology, people can just like record their thoughts and everything. So that's more of like an old guard point of view. But
He's got
but
the
I,
OG
I, I
view on
do
handwriting.
object. I do object to them like not teaching script in school. I think that's like a really like a bad thing.
Okay, boomer.
And okay, so I don't even know I can't remember what this is called. I think it's reflection between two eclipses. This is Dale starting after Fred, who finds himself suddenly quite dead, about whom you might have read. But I followed my instincts instead, though it led to hospital bed and 5 decades of powerful med. As in hell my soul bled, being once on scraps of faith fed, as children screamed out in dread. But now the hellhound is gone. But now is gone hellhound. A secret to bliss is found when no longer by warlord bound, so we can finally hear sound of God walking on holy ground, creating no need for burial ground as Lord by grace does astound. And this ties into something I heard about the Jewish religion. The apparently, we were like in 10 days. There, like 10 of the holiest days of the Jewish calendar, and basically it's like I think it begins with the Yom Kippur and ends with Passover. Oh no, it's something. But anyway, it's like 10 days where the king is supposed to like be walking among the people, and they also have like the ceremony of the trumpets where they blew the trumpets into heaven and to open up to the Holy Spirit and everything. I heard that was supposed to be like a worldwide event, but I didn't see it. But yeah, so that's my poem. I am getting more optimistic all the time and getting more and more out of the battlefield technology and mindset that we've talked about, and that brings up, of course, our subject today, which is fun, and you know, this is
I
day
wore a
4.
fun shirt. Just I thrifted this
It
on.
is that I was about to compliment you on that, Andrew. Pikes Peak.
It's
Has your car
14,115 feet high. It's really high.
has your car ever climbed? I mean, is that when the cars climb, or I know there's Mount Washington in New Hampshire, and you see a lot of stickers. This car climbed Mount Washington. But I've heard that you can like drive Pikes Peak, right?
Correct. Yeah, there's a road, a very windy one, especially towards the top. And there's actually a cog trail or train, sorry, also, and a hiking trail. So there's like at least three ways to get up, maybe four. But anyway, it doesn't matter. Yeah, you can drive up and you know see really far. It's really cold all the time, pretty much. But yeah, this is, I mean, it's just like iconic part of the Colorado Springs skyline
Um,
is Pikes Peak. You pretty much can see it from everywhere. And, my house, there's a nice big I love my angle on it. I think it's dope.
Beautiful.
So yeah, I love living. That's part of why I chose this city is just like, that view, honestly. And it hasn't gotten old yet. So I've been here 5 years now.
Right.
But yeah, it also is a joke about getting high. So on brand with with some of my our hobbies. So it's extra
So,
fun.
so speaking of fun, no, well, no, you start, Andrew. So tell us about what you consider fun, and I meant this. We've declared new year, new age. We said that last show. So, to me, I figured out year zero AF doesn't stand for after Fred because we've done 3 days of mourning for Fred and that's enough. But now AF stands for all funds. So bearing that in mind, how do you plan on proceeding forward, Andrew?
That's a beautiful question, Dale. I mean, I think it's an evolution, but there's so many things that I guess I consider fun. I just played disc golf today and got out in nature with a friend, and the dog, Willow came with us, and that was fun. But this having deep conversations is also fun, and so I think it's anything that makes you like feel good, pretty much. Something maybe a little on the playful side, the lighter side. Doesn't feel like something you have to do, um, but that's like a definition. What is it? It's like what does it feel like in the body? I think that's kind of what
Right.
I'm thinking about. And yeah, there's just a lightness to it, and it doesn't. You can kind of yeah. There's no. It feels free of any sort of pressure or that sort of thing.
Well, one thing that sort of came to my mind is, you know, for a long time, like there are two words that I feel this is true: fun and nice. They've basically been like dragged through the mud for a long time. If you like say to somebody, "I'm having fun," they think you're like singing in a choir or something, or you know, there's just like this idea of like fun is like so sterilized, whereas actually fun can be, like riding down the Colorado River, I mean that's fun too, but it
Yeah.
is, but fun and nice, I mean people always used to say you're a nice guy, and I would argue with it immediately because nice had like such a saccharine feeling, but what we are in this new age is we are the fun generation, but it's going to take a change of perception and perspective to really understand what fun is, because I won't go into my own history, but basically no one's had any fun since at least 9/11. And actually, not only has nobody had any fun, fun has been actively repressed and suppressed. But
Wait.
um,
What? No one's had any fun? Not even you?
uh, well, I'm no real fun,
Okay.
because
Explain.
we've lost the meaning of fun.
Hmm. Okay.
I meant fun since 9/11 has been, maybe I won't get shot at school today,
I see.
So,
Yeah.
uh, so basically, not only do we have to like redefine and like reconsider what our definition of fun is, but we also have to reconsider the parameters of behavior that are possible and allowable that have been suppressed because fun is like such a countermeasure to the authoritarianism that we're going through.
Sure. Oof. Okay. That wasn't very fun. That felt
Well,
heavy.
that's why I think the show is fun, because uh no wait I had like a long conversation with my sister yesterday, and she posted something on Facebook about like freedom of speech, and I reacted on Facebook, and she said, let's not do this on Facebook. So I gave her a call yesterday, and I had like basically the best conversation I ever had with her in my life. But basically, we were talking about free speech and everything, and I was saying to you, I was, I began by saying, how can, I just like object to you talking about free speech when, if I suggest that I might give Trump a chance to see what he can do, you say, ask me if I'm taking my meds. To me, that's like the epitome of like non-free speech. And so we went from there, and I just like let her. I just like express a lot of things that I've expressed here about her and everything, but basically just like, thinking for yourself and coming up with your inner wisdom and letting that guide you, instead of like saying, I meant, instead of saying, well, so and so said this, and that means that his second cousin said this, and this led to this, and it's all terrible, So, but I mean, but I think it was a very good conversation, because we talked at a pretty deep level, and we were talking about politics too a little bit, and she was basically agreeing with me on some points, and we avoided Trump and everything, but it was a very good conversation, and it was fun, and that's really what fun is. Fun isn't just like la di da, butterflies and unicorns. True fun is like interaction from within the depths of your soul between two people, or between as many people as you can like have in connection. That's
Yeah.
how I feel.
Well, yeah, I can't argue that those those are fun experiences, and being able to. I mean, yeah, when they happen, gotta appreciate them for sure. So yeah, I mean that sounds like you really went on a journey there with sister. I'm glad you got to a good place. Yeah, it seems like the new Dale is showing up a little differently.
Yeah, and well, the discussion, the talk we had before the show also was like very enlightening, and I just when you go in Dale to Dale, then every moment is a chance for like paradigm renewal and also reevaluation. And I came up with something today is that if you're in Dale, you are safe, you are invulnerable from the wrath of God.
Phew. Okay.
Because you got a steel security bubble around you.
Okay. Well, my opinion is you don't need to be safe from the wrath of God because it doesn't exist. It's not real.
Exactly.
It's a made up concept. But that's my opinion. So you guys do with that what you will. But
Well,
I mean, that's the point of having the fun is it's if you can accept that all events are neutral, then maybe you can have some fun and not be so concerned about what other people might think or whatever
right,
keeps you holds you back currently. It could be anything, right? But that's the things that I am working to sort of leave behind too. And I don't know. Do I have much? Do I have fun? I think I do. I think I figured a lot of it out, but there's room for growth for sure. And with a paradigm shift, like an openness to possibility beyond anything that my current
right.
imagination has come up with. So let's see what new can come in, right? What because I mean that the novelty factor is that's good stuff. When
Well, are we ready for Drew's 5 definitions of fun?
yes, please.
Okay, fun equals finally united nation. Next is a financially unified network, forever unfolding new. Fred unclean nasties. Friendly, understanding, nice.
Nice. Yeah.
Those are how I figured out the traits of what I think fun stands for.
Yeah.
But it's based not only on personal but also macroscopic ideas like the finally united nation, which is really the dream of everybody, and ultimately a united world. But
Yeah.
just being in that quantum unity in the first place.
I was thinking about that yesterday. I was kind of packing, kind of getting organized for a trip, and I was thinking about like the security of some of the items because I didn't have a way of like locking them or something because they were just going to be sitting on a trailer. And I thought to myself, wait, like, is that why? Do I need to even worry? Um, and do we live in that world, right, where where you can just leave your stuff, just sitting out, and no one's gonna even think twice about making it their
Right.
stuff. And like how much thought energy and physical energy and money do we put into like activities that would no longer be necessary, are no longer necessary, in this world we're creating, and how much like energy does that free up to do other things, right? I mean,
Exactly.
part of that limitation and lack is because we expend so much energy on what I would call survival tasks, right?
Like distractions.
Or yeah, mental energy, right? Just in worry or whatever, and so like could our nervous systems collectively become like calm enough and feel safe enough in our environment to just move throughout the world without any of those concerns? And what could that be like? How free could how free is that? And so that's what I'm leaning into is like I'm not even gonna go there. Honestly, if the stuff is gone, the stuff is gone. I don't give a shit. But I'm not going to be spending my mental energy worried about it.
Right.
And so, and because it's literally. I mean, so those are the little leaks I would call energy leaks that I'm really starting to pay attention more because I want the energy for the fun, right, and the time, and to have life be lighter and freer. It sounds dope. So. Leaning
Well,
into
I don't know if I mentioned this, but the new age is we've moved from the age of freedom to freedom again.
yeah, I like it. Oh, Dale, you and your words and your acronyms, I like it. Yeah. Well, there we
But
go.
but I've been thinking about fun and you know, oh, and I came up with something else. You know, one thing I wanted to say about the wrath of God that I brought up earlier that I didn't bring up is that, I do believe not only in Jesus, but the fact is that it seems like if you'd been a disciple, you would have had a lot of fun. Everybody, nobody like emphasizes that fact, but just being in the presence of Jesus and watching him do his thing and watching that would have been like tremendous fun back then. I mean, that would have been like the theme park of reality, and that's basically what I'm trying to do here, not only in Teaneck, Hackensack City, the perfectly integrated city of today, but also in the world in general, is to make it a theme park. And theme parks are a lot of fun. The only one I've ever well, I've been to Six Flags one time. I went to Disneyland when I was 4 years old and got lost on Tom Sawyer Island, but which caused my mother a lot of anxiety. But I was safe. And
Yeah.
and but anyway, if we can turn our mindset from a mindset of endless war to a mindset of this is Gaia, the eternal theme park, and especially as we were talking about last week, I think, about reality, and just focus on what you can see instead of like, I came up, this was what I came up with today. Uh, the definition of concrete is everything I see is absolutely real, but everything I look at is not.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, I guess where I'm at now, and I'm adapting to this in real time also because I was just scrolling last night and I realized like just this ick that was building up in me, and the content wasn't even that, you know,
Right.
it was just I didn't know why I was looking at it, and so yeah, I'm processing that as well. Like this idea of how much information we're getting from a screen and deeming as true, and how can we possibly do that? How can that possibly be how we're navigating it? It can't. It doesn't work. And if it ever did work, it definitely doesn't work now. And so that means being in real life, like all the time, or like most of the time, maybe. I don't know. Like there is this sense of like relief when you can just kind of veg out to something, and it's very desirable. I find, especially in the evening, I find myself just, and so I'm just trying to decide how to navigate and just figure out if in this new world, is that something that needs to be reconsidered, or just how
Well,
to engage?
I think so. I mean, in the new world, with the 8-day work week, well, I figured out we're going to have 2 days, then a break deal, then 2 days, so that makes the week. Then we have the weekend. Then we have game day, which is basically for football, and then we have the Sabbath of every week. And Sabaoth, you will relax, and you don't work. You can work, but there's no commandments. But that's the week I fit, because that's what my counselor said. He said, what are you going to have at the top of your calendar? So it's going to be Dale one, Dale. Actually, it's Lovedale, then Duckmate Dale, Break Dale, and then Dale again, or do, and then weekend, game, and Sabbath. And that's how the 8 days are going to be called.
Okay. Well, that would certainly create a paradigm shift, now wouldn't it? I just think it's sort of ironic from two guys that don't have a regular job to be talking about the work week. What do we know about that nonsense?
Well, I know a lot. I mean, besides the WFG for 3 years, basically unsuccessfully for 3 years, but ever since I was like taken away from Dartmouth, routine. You gotta like have your days organized. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, whether you call it work or just like or time management or planning or something. That's
Yeah,
always been like part of my. And I work on a 5-day week.
sure, sure. Yeah, there's something there. I'm still kind of exploring that from my perspective. I don't. I mean, it is tricky to keep track of the days. Like it's not as automatic as it was when I had a job. That thing.
Right.
So, but also like I don't even know why we have weeks. What are weeks for? Right? Months, maybe years for sure. I mean, months can mark different things. Your months are mark what? What would you say they?
40 and 41 days.
Yeah, I still think the lunar
And
calendar is
five weeks of 8 days a week, and every other month you get a day to do the
all right. So we're
laundry.
gonna have a fun calendar, and then we're gonna have a lunar calendar.
Right.
We,
And
yeah.
and they don't necessarily coincide, but they can.
No, I mean, I think they can start at the same time. They're just gonna have different months and slightly different structure. But anyway, this is fun. Apparently, learning to
Well,
mark
this is
time, which isn't even real.
creativity is fun, Andrew, and that's really
What?
what we're. Creativity is fun, and that's really the basis of what we're headed for.
Yeah.
Just like to break out of that domestication and those paradigms and I
I mean,
thank you very much for how much progress I've already made just since we started this podcast. And I've come back to myself. I'm not talking about my recovery. I'm not like dwelling on my diagnosis. And actually, that's another thing I said to my sister yesterday. I said, I'm totally in the moment and just focused on Dale. And before I did the show, I felt that the dialina was like hovering the 9 and 1, which is now complete after 70 years. But I just stood in front of the mirror and I did a Dale exercise. I'm Roger Joseph Dale Edward Walsh, standing in the duck nest, preparing for my podcast with my good friend Andrew, and I just did that for like 2 minutes, and it's what I needed. And that's all anybody actually really needs. I mean, anxiety and depression notwithstanding, they just have to stabilize themselves and themselves. And I really feel that as having had severe mental illness.
Wow. Okay. I mean, that's beautiful. No, this journey of recovery or whatever you want to call it is really interesting to be a part of and to talk about and to learn from. Um, I guess I've just been so I don't know what the word is, but that's that thought warrior thing we talked about. I think is
Right.
been creeping in because I'm running everything through a filter of does this align basically with Christ consciousness? That's my
Right.
understanding of Christ consciousness, and if it does, then amazing. And if it doesn't, then I kind of sit with it a little differently, and then usually I say something, right? And to me, that's how you decide if a structure is required or not. And I agree, from my experience, having zero structure to your day, zero routine, can be a little destabilizing. What's the word? I just I didn't get shit done basically
Right.
if I didn't have a little bit of structure. And so yeah, I've built in a little bit of a morning routine now, and and so even having weeks, I guess maybe makes sense from that perspective. I don't know. I mean, the new paradigm, I don't know how dramatically it shifts because like the lunar thing start kind of makes sense. That's tied to something we all
Right.
seem to observe in our reality. And I know the current calendar makes no sense, right? I mean,
Right.
Oct is 8, and it's the 10th month.
Right.
You know,
Right.
Deca December is 12, and it's D. It's Deca. It
10. It's
should be
10.
10.
Yeah.
So there's already some like it doesn't the calendar doesn't make any fucking sense, and so that's just one example though of like you said is questioning sort of everything in your reality and asking why. And if it actually doesn't make sense, then maybe we get to abandon it. Maybe we get to leave it behind. And I don't know if that's like scary for some people or makes you feel unsafe. That level of
But
like,
I think it's scary because it's becoming so wholesale and it's been so. I mean, it's gotten to the point where nobody can ignore it anymore. It's become a tsunami, and I call it an evolutionary tsunami washing over the world right now, and it's just really beginning, and that's what's scaring people. And I always refer to my own story of when I would talk to the nurses in the hospital, and they'd say, "I'm seeing a new Dale, and I'm getting really scared." And I'd say, well, maybe that's why I'm in the hospital.
yeah. Well, it is, right? I mean, it it is. I guess there's a change is I don't know. It's like the desire to be adaptable isn't inherent. I guess it's something that you cultivate. It's something some muscles that you
Right.
have to build up, right? And it comes from desire for me, right? I mean, the divorce was kind of like my rock bottom and really put me hard into self reflection, and that's sort of what was the catalyst to start a lot of this. But that catalyst was effectively pain. And so I don't know. I think that seems to be, well, unfortunately, that seems to be the catalyst for a lot of people. So,
Right. Or
but you're right.
addiction.
There are other options. It doesn't require pain. We can just pay attention. We could just, start to observe our reality from a more neutral place. I think that's been the game changer for me, honestly. And that judgment frequency was so strong in me. Even last year, I can remember it, and so really rooting that one out, it's been huge as far as being
Well,
able to have fun.
well, I'm speaking from my paranoid schizophrenic perspective here, but this is something I really believe is that one of the most dangerous tendencies of modernity, to use Pete's word, is to try to make everybody into an individual one person. and that's what drove me psychotic. Because I had like I have I say I have 9 personalities, and basically I feel that every human basically reflects me in that way. They have like whatever they want to call those personalities. Most people are like comfortable with three. They say, well, I'm my name, and I'm a dork from school, and I'm a princess to my father. They're very comfortable with three, but when you get beyond three, then people like sort of like get you know that's where you get into trouble with personality diffraction and everything. But my feeling is that one of the problems is this inability of individuals to expand into their quantum selves because it's so domesticated into them the linear situation that they grow up in instead of the quantum reality in which they're actually multi-dimensional reality they're actually existing. And that's why I would go, it took me a long time to realize that the reason I was going to the hospital, especially with Dewey, was because no one would let Dewey through. Everybody insisted, as I got more Dewey, everybody insisted I be Dale more and more. And this like created like an inner conflict between Dale and Dewey that's like taken a long time to heal. But basically, you know, I think I mean, you tell me, don't you feel you have like more than one basic personality, or do you feel like you're an integrated whole as an individual?
No, I have different personalities. They're not maybe as dramatic as they once were. There's maybe fewer of them, but yeah, there's still. I mean, there's
Well,
a
that's the process of life, is to learn how to integrate those personalities. For me, I mean, that's really what it spent me 70 years learning.
yeah. Well, it's just for me when they come up, to acknowledge them, to see why, like
Right.
why they came to say hi, and usually it points to something, and a lot of times it's just yeah a reactionary state for me, um, but beyond that, right? I show up differently for different people in different
Right.
situations, and I'm trying to like not trying. I'm thinking about if that makes sense. If there's can't I mean I just don't know. I don't turn it up to 10 for everyone. I just it feels like it would be a lot, and that might be my own thing. I'm not sure on that just yet. But but it's still me. It's just like
Right.
how much do I express of what I'm thinking? We had a very candid conversation before this podcast. And, politics came up, and I was a little upset, I suppose you could say. But you probably felt a little extra energy in that moment. Is that a different personality? Maybe. It just depends on how you want to define it. And
Well,
I don't get hung
I'm
up on those
thinking in
definitions
terms
that
of
much. Hmm?
I'm thinking in terms of mask versus identity. Mask versus identity. Mask is what you present to other people, but the identity is like really where those masks are coming from. And you have a choice between what mask you present, but also if you want to try to present mask in the first place.
Right. Yeah. Correct. Well, yeah, but I even think for small talk, I don't usually, go straight to, "Hey, I believe in Christ consciousness." It's not my like opening line usually. But maybe it could be, I'm willing to explore the space and, try anything. And I
Right.
would like to, there is something about being more open and transparent, and I have leaned into that to some extent, but it's incremental, right? It's like the next step from where I was. And that's maybe fine, right? I'm not judging it, but there is something about expressing authentically, and I don't know. I still feel like I need to build some level of like trust and knowing of the other person before I dial it all the way up. That's still where I'm at, and so we'll see if that shifts or not. But
Well, I think more important than trust in the other person is trust in yourself. Trust in your own discernment, trust in your gut, in your instincts, trust in your like feelings about what's going on. And then, it's what we were talking about last time about internal versus external. Because if you're trusting someone, that's actually means you're trusting yourself to trust him.
brilliant, yeah, yes. Well, and that I mean that just flips everything, right? Like when you really look at it as an internal thing, um, then yeah, you are learning to trust a part of yourself is effectively what it is. Yeah, that's true. So here we are. We're trusting ourselves and we're believing that, our thoughts do populate the possibilities for tomorrow. And that's important. I mean, that's a pretty key piece of this whole puzzle. Because if you truly believe that your thoughts today are creating the possibilities for your tomorrow, then you realize that this is to be the thought warrior is for your own benefit. It is to root out the programs that no longer serve and become aware of like where you're staying small in order to feel safe or well that's usually the recipe, right? For
Right,
me it was anyway. I like to speak from my own experience. I try not to project too much
right.
onto others, but that's been my
Well,
experience.
well, I, it's also, talking about being small, I felt a lot of times I had to be small to survive. I just had basically to vanish, and so nobody could see. And this might be my delusional battlefield mindset, but just nonetheless, I would get small. And then I would also say the smaller I get, the more people can see me because I'm more in my 5'8" body and people in Hackensack can see me. And then
Mm,
I would also say the bigger I get, the more people can see me because then it was like a gigantor towering over the earth where everybody could see me. So, that's another paradox that I figured out. But uh, I just want to like throw this in randomly, but my motto at this point is Dale has not always been perfect, but I've always been a perfect Dale.
yes. Seems appropriate. I like it. Oh, it passes the filter. Well, that's exactly it. That's about acceptance. I mean, that's what I hear when I hear that phrase. And what would it be to be just 100% accepting of who you are and that you've never made any mistakes, you've never done anything wrong, and this has been a journey of experience that you signed up for here on planet Earth with these fellow people who are
Right.
here with us, right? And we're all creating our own like universes, but we can co-create, and I think that's something I'm really like trying to focus more on because that feels most fun to me. I think that's what we've talked about, right? Like
Right.
it's connection with other people and what can be created together. Although one thing that gets created between a lot of people is fights. So we gotta see if we can find a better solution than that. But
Right. Well, I think I mentioned this, but I feel that New Year's Dale on Tuesday marked the completion of the 70-year construction of the Dialina, the spaceship that Dale's body. And now, so that book is completely closed. And the new age, the new AF, always fun age is let's go and figure out how we can have fun together rather than worry about all these damn Fred concerns that no longer exist because they've evaporated because Fred is dead.
Yes, that's my style for sure. Yeah, it's to me it's about being creative. I
Absolutely.
think I said this in a meeting earlier this week, but I'm like, and it's not my idea, but you can't be creative and a victim at the same time. And so
Right.
when you're creating, I mean, look at kids, right? That the youngest ones especially, they're creating all the time. They're making up games on the fly, and decide, just have incredible imaginations. And I think it's good to remember what that's like and see how we
So,
can incorporate that into our adult lives.
I don't know if you saw it on the Seeding Abundance I Instagram page. I think it's Pete posted a reel of like this 4-year-old who had a art sale of all his drawings, and it filled the whole house. I don't know how much money he made. I don't know if he gave them away. He must have sold them, but his whole house at the age of 4 years old was like covered with his pictures. And that's really what we're talking about, creativity, and not only the creativity within, but also use that creativity to connect with other people. And I think that's extremely part of the AF age.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Well, I just, that's what I see is like a more, well, that's what moving beyond survival frees up. That's the way I see it. Is
Right.
like there's these huge chunks of ourselves that we haven't accessed because that energy has all been going to survival mode or being in fight or flight or whatever, and
Right.
it if that energy is reclaimed, if it allows for a lot of different things to happen and health and just like overall mental well-being and like I think it has a lot of downstream effects. At least that's been my experience. And so I don't know where life goes. It's been an interesting journey. I'm having fun, and so far everything I've needed I've had. And so um, it feels like oddly it feels too easy.
I always used to say that.
And I think that's part of me like accepting, like learning to like even relax in my own nervous system.
Right.
And but shit, like I've been doing this for 5 years, and I've been having when you said that no one's had fun since 9/11, I was confused because I'm like I thought I had some fun in there somewhere. Did I was I
Right.
wrong? Was I missing something?
But well, yeah, see, I uh, I keep losing my thought. Basically, what were you saying before 9/11? Well, 9/11 distracted me. So
Oh shit.
you, uh, well, oh, about
Well, you said no one's been having fun, and I didn't know what you meant by that.
no,
But
before that, you were talking about something else. Do you remember?
oh, geez, I was kind of
Wait,
riffing.
okay, well, it had to do with fun. But basically, um, just cooperation and
Oh, it's about freeing up energy
oh,
for.
right, and that's what I'm saying. Freeing up energy and uh, you know, the more you dedicate. Oh, I know what I'm going to say. So everybody's like freaking out about how AI is going to take their jobs and like there's going to be like an economic collapse all because of AI and AI is going to run the world and everything. But that's one perspective, dystopia perspective. But what if, in fact, AI gives us the opportunity to have the fun of living in a Jetsons world?
Right. Yeah, I thought about that too. It's an interesting thought exercise. I just I don't know. I'm so rooted in analog and connection to the earth, and AI just doesn't feel like that to me. And I know there's a lot of people that have different opinions. Um, I don't. I don't know. I mean, maybe. I think it's way simpler, possibly, but that's one scenario. I think that's a scenario that someone like Elon Musk has painted, right? The age of abundance. He's going to make robots that do things for us and cars that drive for us and
Right, right.
freaking. So maybe, but to me, it's too, that philosophy feels too attached to 3D, like, bleh. And
Well,
it feels disconnected from God to me.
right. I guess what I'm really saying is, consider the possibility that the advance of technology and technology especially is going to allow everybody to live in a zone in a way similar to you and I, where
Yeah.
you don't have to worry about like making money to pay the bills and everything. And that to me that's really where we're heading, and that's what the AF is all about. Is like break using the tools we have to make possible the lifestyle and the reality that we always dreamt we said we wanted.
Yeah. I think I think the key from my perspective is understanding human technology. You know,
Right.
I think once you understand this device more, I'm not like I've mastered this device, but I definitely have learned a lot about it. And, um, you know, it, the device operates best when it's connected to its environment.
Right.
Um, and that means being outside in nature, seeing some sunlight in the morning, and maybe even in the afternoon, ideally, having connection to fellow humans and to the planet and what is happening in the world around you. Um, and so the degree to which you are separate from all of that maybe is creating the distortion or something. I, um, I don't know where I was going with that, but like, I think the point is tuning the device is like helpful in this process.
Right.
You
No,
can have more
no,
fun. You can have more
right.
fun if you're thinking clearly, if your body works well, if you can move, and that has downstream effects. It just affects how you do everything else in life, I guess is my point. And getting it relaxes the nervous system, right? I mean, I think that's seems to be like a core piece of this puzzle is the energetic body and what state it is in order to receive the information that's coming in, be more creative, feel more connected, and all of those things lead to a more fun experience. So there's
You-
it's like that structure you were talking about, right? You have to have a little structure in order to maintain the device, tune the device, and then you can have fun and be carefree and all that. And so it's a little bit of both. And not that taking care of the body can't be fun. It's just maybe when you start out on the journey, it doesn't always feel the most fun.
Well, taking care of the body can actually be very as simple as like walking 20 to 30 minutes a day. I mean, I haven't been to the gym for like a year and a half and everything, but one thing I did want to say about alignment and about you were talking, and this is where like
For the
came
record,
up.
I never said anything about going to a gym ever.
Uh, exactly. Well, exactly. But I'm just that might be what that's what came to my mind. So.
Understood.
When you were talking about taking care of the body. Uh, but anyway, so what I was going to say is the alignment not only has to be within, and this is the point that you were just making about the environment, the optimum situation is when your inner alignment is in tune or aligned with the outer environment in which you're in. And that's really the golden spot that you're aiming for.
Yeah.
At least that's how I see it.
Okay. And is there an order of operations to that? Because to me there is.
Uh,
You achieve the inner alignment. You know, your thoughts match your actions, match your words, thought match. You know, you're a clear channel. You're not wearing
right.
masks. I mean, to the degree you are, it's not like a disingenuous thing. It's like it's just well, whatever. I don't know what it is. I'm still
Uh, we,
learning.
we,
I'm
we,
still
we,
learning on
we,
that one.
we, you've asked this before, and I'll go. I'll give you my usual answer. Dale, first you Dale, you center yourself, and you place yourself in geographical time and space. Then you figure out what you want to do, and then you you move forward, and that's Dewey behavior, and behavior action leads to thought, which is duck, and duck leads to genius, which is tied into Dialena, universe, omniversal source that knowledge. So, um, actually, we haven't read Sid today yet, so this seems like a perfect moment for that. So,
Yeah. Remember how it all
um,
works.
okay, so this is still on the mind.
So this is
The
Sid
world
Banks.
and what?
What's this is Sid Banks and the book.
Oh, okay. So this is Sid Banks who came up with what's known as the three principles of thought, mind, and consciousness, and how they're compound, and how all reality is based upon that compound through perception. And this book is called The Missing Link by Sid Banks. I won't go into his history except to say he was a Scottish welder who had a revelation from God, and 3 years later he was lecturing MIT, quorums, and he became a world famous speaker. But this is his basic manifesto, The Missing Link, and he talks about mind, thought, and consciousness. And we've been reading every show, and this is from the chapter on mind. The world in the form of nature is a reflection of the human mind, which creates an illusionary gap between the spiritual and the physical. The gap, in turn, creates the duality of life. Trapped in this duality, our minds become full of disillusionment and lostness. As the human mind ascends in divine consciousness, the gap between subject and object begins to vanish, and the oneness of life emerges. There is one universal mind, common to all, and whatever you are, it is with you always. There is no end or limitation, nor are there boundaries to the human mind. So that ends the chapter on mind, and next time we'll go into consciousness. But I think that basically that basically dovetails very well into what we were talking about, and how fun is actually begins in the mind, and and it, you know this demonization or trivialization of fun and nice, I think, is something that's important to turn around and at least look at in the new age of always fun.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he talks about it, right? It's the degree to which you perceive separation is the degree to probably when you're not going to be having fun.
Right.
The degree to which you perceive oneness and the connection, will yield more fun. That's guaranteed. That's a Do and Drew guarantee.
Yeah. And I think that's a perfect place to end it for today.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, everybody, well, have a great weekend. I guess you'll see this on Monday, so I should say have a great week. And thanks very much for attending. Subscribe, add comments if you want to. And Andrew, I'll let you close it out.
All I have to say is that we love you guys. Thanks for coming with us.